Hello and welcome to another standard video here on the official MTG Arena channel. Today we finally get to play on the ranked ladder with the Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy expansion, which introduces a Lightning Army of 1, a 3-mana 3-2 with First Strike, Trample and a lifelink. She's just missing haste, and whenever lightning deals combat damage to a player until our next turn, if a source would deal damage to that player or a permanent that player controls, it deals double that damage instead. So imagine we're attacking with lightning and a few other creatures. Because lightning has first strike, we might be able to hit the opponent first, enabling the ability, and now every other creature that's attacking will also deal double the amount of damage to the opponent or any creatures they might control. So that can be incredibly powerful, and first strike and trample is also a pretty good way to dissuade the opponent from trying to block lightning. Let's say they do have a 4/4 on defense, we attack, then even if they block, we can still just use a 2 damage burn spell to finish off their creature while still trampling over for 1, enabling lightning's ability to double our damage output. Then we also get to maybe give a lightning haste, which is the only keyword it's missing, thanks to another new addition, Summon Brynhildr, a 2-mana summon saga, which counts as a creature, so just a 2/1 that can attack and block like a normal creature, but it will go away after Chapter 3. On the first chapter, we can maybe provide a bit of card advantage by exiling the top card of our library. During any turn where we put a lore counter on the saga, we can play that card, so we don't have to play it right away, but of course, if the creature gets removed, then the exiled card will go away as well. And then on chapters 2 and 3, when we cast our next creature spell this turn, it will gain haste. So that's how we can set up a turn 3 hasty lightning to immediately connect, maybe letting the summon deal 4 damage as opposed to 2 as well. And then rounding out the deck, we don't have a ton of creatures, so that's also why we're omitting Monstrous Rage, which would normally be a staple in these red aggro decks, but our creature count is quite low, and the summon also goes away after a few turns, so Monstrous Rage would not be the most reliable effect, and instead we get to run more burn spells, which can either go to the opponent directly to close out the game, especially powerful with lightning doubling their damage after we connect, but they also allow us to interact with the opponent's game plan and maybe leverage the card advantage we get from our summon. And our other creatures include Hired Claw, great 1-drop, good in multiples, dealing damage to the opponent directly when our lizards attack. Don't have Rockface Village in the mana base to give it haste, since we have so many color-intensive non-creature spells we need to cast. Swiss Spear is still great, since we have lots of ways to trigger prowess and can get in right away. And then at 3 mana, Screaming Nemesis is still great as a 3/3 with haste. If it's ever dealt damage, it can redirect that damage and can also prevent the opponent from gaining life for the rest of the game, so that can also prevent them from maybe stabilizing and surviving our burn spells. And speaking of burn spells and lightning, there's a lot of lightning in this deck, starting at 1 mana with Burst Lightning, which can be kicked later to maybe deal 4 as opposed to 2. There's Shock. At 2 mana, we can also deal 3 damage with a Lightning Strike, and the reason to splash white is for Lightning Helix, which can now also gain 3 life, so it's a powered up version of Lightning Strike, and then Boros Charm, which can deal 4 directly to the opponent. This one cannot damage creatures, but we have the flexibility of maybe making our permanents indestructible, or giving a creature double strike, which can sometimes be worth it if we triggered prowess a bunch and our creature got up to 4 or 5 power. So that's our deck. Now let's jump into some games and see how the deck does. Okay, we're on the draw. We've got a lightning and even more lightning, so I'll keep. Can curve turn 1 lightning into turn 2 lightning and turn 3 lightning, but I should probably start with a Hired Claw. Facing blue-red prowess. Tempting to just shock the Otter token before we take more. I think I want to stay on the front foot with Hired Claw. Double Battlefield Forge is gonna hurt in this matchup. Slick Shot is perfect to burst lightning, or probably should start with a shock. Attack. And then we can keep up shock during the opponent's turn, although we might get punished if they have like a Monstrous Rage. And we've got more burn spells in case they've got more slick shots. So we'll try this. Now Rents Resolve. Next turn they can maybe play the slick shot. And then we've got an opportunity to cast lightning. At 2 toughness, our opponent might be able to take it out with their own burst lightning, we'll see. Slick shot attacks. And yeah, they've got the burst lightning, sadly. And a monstrous rage. Alright, still within range of a lightning strike. Seems more important than going for a Screaming Nemesis right now. And then I don't really want to deal myself 1 damage to deal the opponent 3, so we'll wait. Talent levels up, can get back maybe a Ren's Resolve. So we can get in with Screaming Nemesis. And then I probably Bolt Wave here as well. No need to Burst Lightning my own Screaming Nemesis, since the opponent's deck doesn't have any life gain effects. Ren's Resolve finds Storm Chaser's Talent. And Burst Lightning number 2. So we can attack. Opponent opts to trigger Prowess. Can pay for Spell Pierce if we double Burst Lightning, so as long as Nemesis connects here, we're happy. Alright, can let damage happen. Could also double Burst Lightning, although then they might bounce the Nemesis. So I should just let damage happen. And that should be game. On to the next one. Okay, we're on the draw. And we've got kind of the dream curve. Swiss Spear into Brynhildr, and then Lightning with Haste. Now this is a creature, so it's not going to trigger Prowess on the Swiss Spear. Opponent blue-white. Alright, we'll give this a try. Can maybe play our starting town in case we draw another fast land. And that resolves. And a Hard Claw with haste could also be effective. Opponent on the Omniscience combo deck. So it's all about speed. They might have temporary lockdown as well to exile our board. And no Omniscience in graveyard yet, at least. It's gonna be a Dragonstorm. And did they have Omniscience in hand? They did, so that threatens the combo kill next turn already. So I could Hard Claw, keep up some burn spells to maybe answer the Omniscience. So then if they don't have a backup, they don't fully get to combo. Attack. Does our opponent have Abuela's Awakening? They do. So yeah, all we can hope for is that they don't have another Omniscience or counterspell in hand. They do get priority back, so they're the first ones that get to cast another spell. And it's Invasion, so let's see if they have a counterspell. If this works, I think I would rather keep Burst Lightning, so I can maybe go Lightning with haste into a 1-mana Burst Lightning for 4 damage next turn. They had a River Region to draw 3 discard, so that can maybe still find an answer. And yeah, they found the counter spell. So they get to keep Omniscience, and we're just dead here since they already cast Invasion, which can get Jeskai Revelation, which can bounce the Invasion over and over while dealing 4 to us. And that's game. We'll let them go through the motions for a few more times. But yeah, not much we could do here. We had a fast start. Would have loved to play Lightning with haste, but since their opponent was on the play, they were threatening a turn 4 combo. Could have considered not playing Hard Claw, and then I would have had both Lightning Helix and Burst Lightning to answer the Omniscience 1-1. But then if our opponent just casts another Omniscience from hand, it doesn't matter. And we still needed to make sure we were applying some amount of pressure. So I don't think we could have done much better in our seat. But that's how the cards fall sometimes. Alright, I think they've demonstrated a loop here. GG's. On to the next one. Okay, we're on the play with a keepable hand. Turn 1 Swiss Spear. Turn 2 we can summon. Facing another red deck, although it's the mouse variant. Yeah, close call here. Maybe I should just keep up Lightning Helix for a Manifold Mouse. Otherwise we're gonna fall behind. It's gonna be a Mage Bane, a Lizard. For toughness is a little harder to get past. Can just Boros Charm now, I suppose. So missed out on a prowess damage. Time for Nemesis. Could leave Swiss Spear back. Opponent takes 3, otherwise they would have lost Heartfire Hero. Mage Bane's kind of an anti-prowess card. At 4 toughness it survives most burn spells, so that's why it's included. Alright, 1 mana Frenzy. Of course they didn't want to deal 5 to the Nemesis. So we'll start here. Find a land. And I could play another one, or next turn it can enter with haste. Let's pass for now. Challenger is okay. Opponent goes all out. No blocks. And another Mage Bane. So we can Helix face. Play another summon. Find Lightning. Sadly that one will not have haste. But our opponent scoops it up, and all-out attack will do it. On to the next one. Okay, we're on the play with a promising hand. Turn 1 Claw. Turn 2 can Swiss Spear plus Burst. Facing an Aura deck. Alright, so very happy to take out the Scavenger before it gets out of range. And we'll see if we can keep Lightning in play for a turn. So it is a Pixie deck, of course, if they're playing blue-white with Scavenger. So yeah, the Pixie deck will have ample answers to Lightning. For now we can attack. Still tempting to just shock the Scavenger while it's within range. Because if I go for lightning, they remove it, then we might fall behind. And then Boros Charm, giving Swiftspear double strike. Is that better than dealing 4 to the face? Because yeah, 4 to the face, I'm basically dealing 7 with a Swiftspear. If I give double strike, it's only 6. So 4 is better. Or I can just activate Hard Claw, diversify my threats a little bit. Maybe have them use removal on Hard Claw as opposed to saving it for lightning. Fear of Isolation, pick up the talents. So it doesn't seem like they have removal in hand, otherwise they probably would have prioritized those. So that bodes well for lightning. For now, attack. We don't want them to put fear on Swiftspear, but from their perspective, they're afraid of Monstrous Rage, which would punish that block, so our opponent takes it. And then I'll play Lightning, even though if I just go end of turn Boros Charm and tap Helix, they're dead. Fear hits for 2. And we get to untap. I can play another Claw. They might be keeping up a bounce spell for Lightning. Claws deal 2. Let damage happen. And yeah, opponent's gonna bounce Lightning, as we suspected. Still happy to let damage happen as it stands, since we have lethal with the Boros Charm. Don't expect them to have any counter spells, but I may as well let them untap. And once they're tapped out, we can safely go for it. No instant speed life gain that I'm aware of. One card in hand. And we've got 2 attempts between Boros Charm and Lightning Helix. And after turn Helix. And that'll do it. On to the next one. Okay, we're on the play with a promising hand. Hopefully we get to deploy Lightning in time. And then Screaming Nemesis is not a bad backup option. As a 3-2, it does die to a lot of cheap answers, like opposing Burst Lightnings, and Cut Down still gets it. So that's why trying to play it with haste through the summon is kind of our plan. For now, Swiftspear. Opponent blue-red. And they've got the Burst Lightning, so opponent on prowess. We can pass. Hope to draw a 3rd land. And their own Swiftspear. So still within range of a Lightning Helix. Could also just double deal with the 1-drops, which I also don't mind. Sure. Maybe Helix can take care of a creature that's been pumped by Monstrous Rage, giving it extra toughness. Alright, perfect. Found a summon. So a land off the top would be ideal. So next turn, Hasty Lightning is the dream. Either way, we got our card out of it. Kind of reminds me of Abbot of Carol Keep, which was a pretty good card back in the day. Opponent with talent into Rents Resolve, so coast is clear for Lightning. This lightning is only going to strike once, but it is going to strike first. So if they don't trade, summon deals 4 damage. And Ren's Resolve is next. Finds the cutter. But they won't get the Monk token out of it this turn. Do you have interaction left for lightning? You do not. The Altar token is gonna attack. Alright, so opponent seems dead. Hit you with lightning. And then hit you with some more lightning. So I guess lightning did strike twice after all. Awesome, on to the next one. Okay, we're on the draw with a keepable hand. Can set up a hasty lightning with a summon. Although it might be up against Omniscience combo once again on the draw, so if they have an ideal start, they can likely combo before we can present lethal. Hit you for 1. They can lock down on 3. But for now, Moment of Truth. And Blast Zone hits the graveyard. Summon finds a shock. So I can maybe save that for the third lore counter. And yeah, they have the lockdown, so no hasty lightning. But at least we're not in danger of getting comboed next turn. If this connects, this is 12 damage in hand. So then we're very close to lethal. They might still have blue source keep up Ifara's Dispersal. Let's find out. That hits. So no Omniscience in graveyard, so let's make this count. They might have a Spell Pierce. Yeah, some Omniscience decks play Spell Pierce for the mirror match, so I don't really want Lightning Strike getting countered. Well, let's attack and hope we connect. And then Lightning Strike could be lethal. Possible they have the Riddle to counter unless we pay 4. But we can pay for Spell Pierce. I think we gotta try. Otherwise, end of turn River Regent, discard Omniscience. They could combo. And there we have it. Awesome. So we got our revenge against the Omniscience combo deck after all. So yeah, we got to see some of the upside of including lightning in your deck. Setting up double damage burn spells is no joke, but it doesn't have any built-in haste, so it can be a little bit tricky to get immediate value, which is why setting it up with haste is part of our game plan. So yeah, that's going to do it for today's gameplay. I want to thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed, and as always, have a nice day.